Morning, folks. Welcome to my humble homestead in the forest. And I'm here at my garlic portion of the garden. And I don't know if you can see me. Maybe I'll get down. No, I'm not. I'm not obsessed with garlic. I just love it, just like I love many of my plants. But garlic is just one of those really not finicky, but one of those high maintenance almost. Not even high maintenance. It requires a lot of attention, and what that I already have a video on why you need to weed it all the time. It doesn't need to share its soil. It doesn't like to share its soil with much of anything, and it goes in the ground before anything else. So here, late October, early November, and it comes out. And when it finally comes out, it's first week of July now. And when we finally harvest it in perhaps at the end of this month, it will still not be ready to use. It still needs 2 months here anyway to cure. Otherwise, the skin will be too fresh. It won't have that intense garlic flavor. And if you don't cure it, that is, if you try to eat it, consume it right away. So Now, today I have another video where I show you how I get rid of my garlic moth, and you have to stay on top of that. And I think I've done enough of that for this year. And I'm sure maybe I'll find some that are not done yet that I still have to cut off. But today I'm going to be cutting off the garlic scapes. Garlic scapes, well, there are basically two kinds of garlic. There's the Softneck and there's the Hardneck, and then there's me, that's redneck. but I say that proudly because I don't know if I mentioned this before. The reason why originally when people were called rednecks is that these really hardworking folks bent over in the hot summer days in the field in whatever that they're working the field, basically whatever they were doing on the field, and so their necks were exposed and they got really red, and so the term redneck came about. It just meant that these are like peasants or lower class people or whatever, but now we use them to say that someone is well, whatever, we won't get into that now. So today, actually, can you see what this looks like? What they call curly cues. They start to turn. Sometimes they turn twice or maybe 3 times. The scapes, the necks, the ends, whatever you want to call them. And maybe I'll come over and try to zoom, see if that's easier for you. It's 7 in the morning, and I'm doing this before I go to my elderly neighbors to help her with her chores or work. Can you see now? There's like a circle or half circles at the top. I mean, at the top of the plant, but they're all over at different heights. Okay, so now I'm gonna go and start cutting those off. And if I see any ones that are affected by moss, then I will take them off too. Separately, they go in the garbage. Today's garbage day. And the rest I'm going to be making a pesto or some kind of a garlic paste out of. So let me just bring the camera back so I can show you more. Okay, folks, I have to do this quickly so A, you don't get bored, and B, I can go and do my other chores. I may not do a video on how I make my garlic paste, but basically all you do is all I do is cut this tip off because it can get a little bit tough to chew, and the rest I'll put in the blender with maybe a teaspoon of lemon juice and or olive oil. You do whatever you want, and blend it till it comes to this paste consistency, and then you put it in a jar and make sure there's not much air in it. Maybe at the end of it, top it up with some olive oil as a barrier, and that stays in your fridge and it's good to go. You can add that to really all your dishes. um, just I wonder if I can just top these up now. Yeah, while I've got my pruner. Oh, here's one that's got moth. Was infected, but by the moth. Here's another one that I must have missed. Don't like that moth. Yeah, so the soft necks don't have. Oh, another one. Soft necks don't have these curly cues or garlic scapes. You don't have to. You don't have that if that's what you're planting. So don't be looking and saying, "Oh my God, why didn't I get these beautiful curly cues?" Well, because that's a soft neck. And I will soon do a video on when is the best time for you to actually harvest your garlic, not just the scapes. Or, by the way, if you were to leave these garlic scapes to get bigger, this portion, the little bump here would get really big, swell up. Really, if you let it, it can be the size of a grapefruit if you wanted to. And that head is full of um, um, what's known as bulbils, and you can, or sort of like a garlic seeds, if you want to think of it that way. You can use that to plant for next year. But the thing is, it takes a long time for that to turn into garlic, actual garlic, like you're looking at here. It takes, how long does it take? Well, it can take 2 to 3 years. So if you have, that's something that you do, an exercise in patience, like a Zen thing, let's say. And if you want to, you could just let one go to sort of like bulbils like that, to seed or bulbils or whatever you want to call it, and just enjoy it. It looks like I missed a few garlic moths. Some are harder to tell. So yeah, if you harvest your if you pull your garlic out of the ground too soon, then, well, obviously your garlic hasn't grown big enough, your bulbs, and so that's not really good. You want big bulbs, but also what happens is that I love being accompanied by all these songbirds. Thank you. But also, to peel that garlic head or piece or bulb or clove, whatever you want to call it, is a frig. Oh, this is a bad one here. I would bring it to you, but the moth has kind of damaged it pretty good. And, my moth pile is getting bigger than what I'm harvesting to eat for the garlic scapes. Yeah, so this one's, it can go either way. Let's not take a chance. And so, but on the other hand, if you pull your garlic out of the soil too late, that's also not good. And I would say it's just as bad as pulling it out of the ground too soon. And what happens there is that the garlic starts to get too big and starts to separate, and also you won't be able to use it. You won't be able to store it for long. It's because it's kind of lost its protective casing. That is the skin that covers it. And so basically for every leaf, this is a leaf, this is a leaf, that's a leaf, that's a leaf. So right now I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, at least 5. For every leaf that you see, there's a corresponding layer of protective casing surrounding your garlic head. Garlic bulb. And so that starts to thin when you take too long to harvest it, and then it's no longer there to protect it when you're in a preservation mode, trying to preserve it for, you know, ideally I would like to have garlic around for my harvest for a year. This is a beautiful example of the curlicue. Can you see against my shirt? Sometimes it goes around twice. And so, how do you know when it's time to harvest? You know, not too late, not too soon. Well, I'll tell you how you know. And it took me a long time, years and years and years to figure this out. So, remember how I told you, counted those leaves that you see? The leaves right now are beautiful and luscious and green. I mean, really beautiful and luscious and green. Can you see against my shirt? Now, in about, I would say a month, or at the end of this month, maybe even, they will, all of these beautiful, luscious and green leaves will start to look kind of sad, dry, if you will, droopy. I don't know how else to put it. And what happens there is that it's telling you that that is the right time to harvest. Now, if you're busy or whatever, you may want to just come one day and do them all at the same time, like I've always done, but I'm not going to this year, because they may not all be ready to harvest at the same time. You see? So what then you should do is that every day you should keep an eye for, come and check to see every day. I mean, you live here, what else you have to do? Come and check to see if they're ready, if any single one is ready or readier to be harvested than other ones, instead of just waiting till they're all until all the leaves have browned and dried and drooped and lying on the ground, because some of them might have gone too far by then. And it's not a horrible thing when that happens. What it means is that you no longer, I mean, not that you no longer, you can't, not that you can't store it indefinitely, but you pretty much have to consume that one sooner rather than later. So I'm going to stop the video now, get on with my work, and let you get back to work. We'll be back at garlic again when it's time to harvest.